Hey everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I'm excited about today's show. I got Kalen King, Penn State grad. Now, he also plays for Minnesota Vikings. I was the newest draft pick, but his brother, Kalen King, was drafted last year to the Packers. So you got a family divided in the NFC North with Kalen and Kalen King. They're going to join me on the Hang on Ron Johnson segment. Pretty much most of the show today is going to be those two, but you guys got to check this out because their dad joins us in the quick hot seat, I guess I'll call it. He joins us. And he actually tells us who he thinks is going to win a Super Bowl between the Packers and the Vikings sooner. So make sure you guys check that out. But also, we're going to talk about the Timberwolves. They are in the Final Four again in the Western Conference, and they have a foe that we've seen before. But can Anthony Edwards do it again? We'll talk about that much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, it's Ron Johnson. This is the Ron Johnson Show. It's a beautiful Tuesday. People, make sure you get out and enjoy this weather because in Minnesota, it doesn't last long. But also, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota. But I'm Ron Johnson. I got my co-host coming up, my producer, Sam Ekstrom. He's going to join us in just a bit. But today's show, I want to make sure you guys know, today's show, we have a long sit-down with Kalen and Kalen King. Kalen King is the next linebacker in line to be behind Blake Cashman, most likely out of Penn State. His brother went to Penn State as well, but they grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and that's why I have a connection with them. So make sure you guys check out my high school. Letterman is going to make an appearance in a little bit. I might have to throw that on for these guys because they went to my rival high school. So I got to have a little fun with that. But I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your business and your finances with Monarch Money. Just use code Locked On NFL at monarchmoney.com. That's code Locked On NFL or code Locked On NHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. Well, as I bring my producer to the show, Sam Ekstrom, my co-host, my guy, Sam, everything I said was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, though, for the Lakers. I said that they can't handle 5. We had the whole Shannon Sharpe breakdown. Shannon Sharpe went dark. He's no longer talking about Lakers in anything. He's moved on to football and the draft and other stuff. I think he's just kind of over it. We know he took a step back from ESPN for a little bit, so we haven't seen him have to talk about it. I'm going to have to check it out tomorrow to see what the national pundits have to say about the Timberwolves. It's probably going to be all about the Warriors. Who knows? But maybe they finally give the Timberwolves their just due. But as I was telling you, looking at the teams left, you got the Warriors, you got OKC, you got the Timberwolves, and then who's OKC playing?
The Nuggets.
Jokic. And so you think about the Nuggets, they're probably out of here. They look tired. OKC, Shea is going. We know Ant last year went after Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, so I'm looking forward to that. What did they? I think they were chanting. What was the crowd chanting? Free throw merchant. Free throw merchant. Because he just flops and he gets to the line, and he's a free throw merchant. So I know the Timberwolves hopefully are on high alert about staying away, jumping straight up, protecting your space, letting the refs know there's going to be a bunch of challenges because we know the refs are going to give him a call that he doesn't deserve. But Anthony Edwards is that guy. But that's only if he gets past the Warriors. And so when you look at this Warriors-Wolves matchup, Jimmy Butler returning to the Target Center. First, I'll actually ask Sam, do you think he's going to get booed? What do you think? Because you mentioned this before. We've talked about this before. You said
relentlessly
he played.
Oh, they hate him.
He always finds a way not to play.
They hate him. Yeah, it's been like 4 years since he played in that arena. Fans have not forgiven him, Ron. I mean, he is going to get absolutely booed every time he touches the ball. I'm worried that he's the kind of guy that actually likes that kind of thing and that might actually fuel him. That makes me nervous. But no, there's going to be a lot of vitriol. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Batman, I think, said it best. You either live long enough to be the villain or you die a hero. And so Jimmy Butler refused to die a hero. And so now he's living long enough to be the villain. The Timberwolves fans definitely aren't happy. I am interested to see, because like the last time, remember Ant got a big dunk against Miami, I think is when Jimmy Butler was there, and Jimmy Butler was the reason. So Jimmy Butler and Ant got into it over like a give me the ball, you give me the ball situation. And then Ant turns around and absolutely posterizes. I don't know who it was. It was Josh Gibson or Taj Gibson or so. I can't remember who it was.
Gabe Vincent.
And he was with the Lakers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he probably had nightmares like, please don't do it to me again. But he absolutely posted. It doesn't count though, right? They called that an offensive foul, didn't they? Yeah. But it's one of the greatest plays that never happened. But Jimmy Butler doesn't move fast anymore. Steph Curry, not strong enough. Draymond Green, not quick enough on the perimeter. It's not, because everybody keeps saying who's going to guard Steph, who's going to guard Jimmy. Again, just like with the Lakers, I said this from the start. Everybody's like, who's going to stop LeBron? Who's going to stop this? Who's going to stop Anthony Edwards? Like you could say all the names, the superstars. Devin Booker could not handle him. Kevin Durant could not move laterally fast enough with him. He is a mismatch nightmare because of his strength. At 6'5", he's strong enough to push LeBron up and down the court. Now, not LeBron in the prime. LeBron at age 25, 26, 27, he would have manhandled and pushed Anthony Edwards back. He would have dunked more. He'd have been, high rising. It's not the LeBron we see anymore. Like, he's not. It's not. But who's going to handle Anthony Edwards? We know Steph Curry can. And the minute they switch off and it's Steph on Anthony, I hope he doesn't settle for just the three, even though he can shoot him at a high clip and Steph not blocking him at all. But I hope he just says, ISO ball, get out my way. Let me take this guy one-on-one. He can't stop me. That's one option. Draymond, he can't stay with him up top. He is a pest when he wants to be, but he can't stay with him. Gary Payton Jr. maybe on Anthony Edwards. I know he's been out there a little bit to play some defense. Buddy Hield, maybe he goes that way, but I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't know. Who do you like? Do you even see, like, do they have anything? Are they going to take the Lakers playbook and go zone? Like, that's what I wonder. What do you think?
Right. I've been thinking about this for a while. Who does Draymond guard? Because I think it all trickles down from there. Do you put a body on Rudy Gobert? Because Golden State likes to play small.
And
they would rather have Draymond playing as their five in a sense. Do you put his body on Rudy to try to keep him off the offensive glass? And I think that's a little bit of a waste of Draymond's skill, because Rudy is not an offensive threat on ball. Like, he's a lob threat. He's an offensive rebound threat. Would you rather put Draymond on Julius? Because Julius Randle, is so strong. I think he would go at whoever else they tried to put on him. But then who do you put on Ant, right? Like, do you put Draymond on Ant and see if he can hang with him on the drive? That's a great way to get Draymond in foul trouble if Ant is driving on him. So I think the Warriors are in a predicament with Draymond. Who does he guard? And do they dare go big and put in what's his name, Quentin Post, as their big man, and then reduce their ability on the offensive end? I think the Warriors are in a tough matchup situation.
Yeah, because you look at it right now, their points leaders. You got Steph Curry, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Brandon, I don't know how to say his name, Podziemski, Buddy Hield, as I talked about. You got Moses Moody, who gives them some minutes. You got Draymond Green, but then you go down to Gary Payton Jr. Or the second, sorry, not junior, but Gary Payton the second. You also have, like you said, you got Quentin Post, who's another center who can come off the bench. You got Kayvon Looney. Does he put some body on Rudy as well? We know he can be in there and doing some stuff. But I just don't see, again, Rudy, great. And you're right. It's the trickle down. Do you go small ball? But we saw what happened when the Lakers went small ball. Rudy ate. Rudy went for 20 plus. Rudy had a dessert with all the fillings, all the dressing, everything. Do you go that route and let Rudy eat and say, Rudy, we think we can keep pace with Rudy shooting twos, which you can. And then you have to trade off the Steph Curry threes. But is he going to hit him at a high clip? Like, is he still the Steph? He is. He can shoot. But Anthony Edwards, I hope he doesn't try to take on Steph Curry too much. I hope he just leaves that for DiVincenzo. I think DiVincenzo, Steph Curry at this age, he's not running like he used to. DiVincenzo can run with him just fine. I think Jaden McDaniels with length puts an arm in his face that gives you a little bit more length on the shooter. They don't have Clay anymore, so now it's like they don't have Jordan Poole anymore. So you kind of have like he's not a splash brother. He's just splash, by himself, just splash. And so I feel like you can get him taken care of with a couple people on the perimeter. Like, the only mismatch I feel like if you pick is Rudy really. I feel like Nas can stay with Steph after watching him in this past series. I feel like Jay McDaniels can stay with Steph. I feel like we know Anthony Edwards can. We know DiVincenzo can. We know Mike Conley can. I think even like I know Luka's not as fast, but Julius Randle sitting in a chair, staying with Luka step for step. The only thing is I would hate the double pass. Like Steph does the pass and then runs and gets the pass right back. That's where I think Julius Randle has a mismatch. But other than that, the rest of those four at the top, I feel like you can switch off. Like there's nobody where you're like, oh, I can't guard this guy, can't guard him, or he can't. But Jimmy Butler, do you think this becomes a Jimmy Butler, Anthony? Like, do you think Anthony Edwards goes with Jimmy Butler? Do you think they go, or do you think Nas Reed goes with Jimmy Butler because Jimmy technically plays like a 3-4 spot?
Yeah, defensively, I think they'll try Jimmy on Ant if Jimmy can move laterally. I know he's been banged up.
Right.
On the other end, I think that Ant against Jimmy is a matchup that Ant's going to want.
Right.
I think Ant, even though he never played with Jimmy, I think Ant knows the history. I think he's going to be motivated by the trash talk element. That Ant is going to rise up and want that matchup. So that's what I'm watching for. And I think when Ant commits himself defensively, he's hard to score on. So that's going to be and Jimmy kind of gets to his spot. He gets to the elbow. He's got that little fadeaway. He's good. Knows how to get his shot off in the mid-range. But I want to see him try to drive on Ant and see what happens.
Yeah, because I guess Buddy Hield is next in line to try to guard Anthony Edwards. And again, a little bit quicker, more his size, but I still don't feel like again, just like I said with the Lakers, they can't handle 5. Like you can't handle 5. Like number 5 is absolutely unguardable. And it's funny, I put that on Instagram on I think on one of ESPN's pages. I just put I did the whole Quaker Oats, Prince is gonna hit a high note. Lakers can't handle number 5. I think people read it wrong because a lot of people got mad at me talking about, oh, this didn't age well. And I was like, huh? I was like, reread it. And then everybody's like, oh, my bad. I just kept seeing all these Lakers in 5. So I thought you was one of them. I was like, no. I was look where I'm from, bro. Like click on my page, see I'm in Minnesota, see that Lakers can't handle 5, not Lakers in 5. But yeah, I had like 4 or 5 people after the Timberwolves won. My comments start blowing up, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck did I do. And then it was that they were getting it wrong. Everybody was like, "Oh, this didn't age well. Stick to football." I'm like, "Stick to football? Why? I got it right. Like, what are you talking about?" Like one dude said the stick to football thing, and now he's disappeared. Like I screenshotted his comment on Twitter and said, "Why'd you delete your?" Because he called me names and all this stuff, and then he disappeared. So clearly a troll or a bot, who knows? But yeah, I got it right. Lakers couldn't handle number 5. I didn't expect it to go in 5. I thought it would go 6. I thought they would end it in Minnesota. But they killed it in 5, which made it even more epic to see Anthony Edwards walk from the stadium back to the hotel, talking trash to the fans and doing Anthony Edwards does best, which is be himself. But talking about being themselves, I got the King twins, Kobe and Kalen King out of Detroit, Michigan, went to Cass Tech High School, went on to Penn State, and then both have been drafted into the NFC North. Not just drafted to the NFL, but to the NFC North. And their dad's going to join us in the hot seat as well. So we got that coming up after a quick word from our sponsors.
Want to tell you that today's show is presented by Monarch Money. This is the way to monitor your finances and build wealth. It can be overwhelming sometimes if you have numerous credit cards, numerous auto payments. You've got investments that are fluctuating. You want to know where the money's going, how much is coming in and out. Monarch Money is your personal CFO, a total financial command center. You're not just managing money, you're building wealth. Knowledge is power, and with Monarch Money, you can connect your account with your partners or your spouses. You know exactly where the investments are, see all the transactions, drop them in the different buckets or categories so you know how the money is being spent. You can easily collaborate. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year.
Well, now I'm here with 2 of Detroit's greats. We got Kalen and Kobe King. Kalen King, Green Bay Packers, and then Kobe King, newest Minnesota Vikings. So congratulations to Kobe. I saw a lot. I'm from Detroit, so I follow a lot of people, that know you guys. I graduated in 1998 when your dad did. And the minute I saw that to the Minnesota Vikings, we got a Detroit kid. I wanted to make sure I got you guys before it got crazy, because I know what it's like once you have to go to mini camp, training camp, and all that stuff. And so I'll start with you, Kalen, man. Like, when you saw your brother get drafted, because you left a year early, and you see your brother's dream come to fruition as well, man. How did that feel for you when you saw that?
Oh man, it felt amazing. Me and my brother, we've been living our whole life with each other, doing everything with each other. We took in this whole journey to get to where we are now with each other. So like, me just seeing him achieve what he had lifelong goals for, and achieve what he's been working on since we was like 5 or 6, it was great, man. It was just like a full circle moment.
And when you think about you leaving early, because I talked to you about this before we started, but I wanted to get that thought from you, man. Like, you know, twins have a connection. People don't understand that. You guys have done everything together. You were born together. You were walking together. You did football together. Every single moment of your life has been together. You guys were blessed, like Rondé and Tiki. You were, as twins, you were able to go to the same college at Penn State. And then you decided to go to the NFL a year before him. I know NIL was a big part of it too, but when you decided to leave, and go, knowing that he probably was going to be right behind you a year later, man. But how tough was that, being away from your brother for that year?
Yeah. So as far as it being tough, like it was tough. I'd probably say for like the first couple weeks, but I mean, I ended up getting used to it, and I knew this was gonna have to eventually happen at some point in our life. Like, we wasn't gonna be with each other all the way up until we grown men with our own family. So I already knew this time was coming. I knew eventually we had to split up and go our own direction. So that's really it.
Because I've seen movies that joke about this. So have you guys ever talked about one day marrying and dating twins, and trying to live your lives together? Has that ever come up?
Nah, that ain't never came up.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I ain't never heard nothing like that.
But Kobe, man, so Cass Tech, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Detroit, Michigan, when you talk about the number of NFL players from Detroit, Michigan, I mean, you got Avonte Maddox, Sauce Gardner, you got a King guy up here in Ambry Thomas, who's with the Vikings as well. And so now you add Kobe King to it. So hopefully you guys keep that Detroit flavor in the locker room. I'm going to make sure I talk it up when I'm out at training camp for you guys. But 22 draft picks. You were draft pick number 22, which made Cass number 1. So King is number 2. I talked to Spice Adams before this as well, and he's a Penn State guy too. And he was like, man, I want to be number 1. We got to find a draft pick for King. And so we're hoping Dante Moore, he's at Oregon right now. He's got a couple years. Hopefully, we'll get that 22 to tie you guys up, and maybe, get another one to get in front of that. But when you got drafted, one, being 22, man, what makes it special about Detroit football, man, that a lot of people don't know?
First, man, it felt great getting drafted, man. It felt like a little bit of relief, a little bit. But I think what makes it special being in Detroit and coming from programs like that is we see the best of the best coming out the city. We see some of the toughest players, some of the players that come from very different backgrounds, like and as well as similar backgrounds that we've come from. But just the experience growing up with certain guys that we probably seen in our life or played against or played with all our life, and actually playing with some of those guys at Cass and playing against some of those guys at King is probably it was like a full circle moment coming up in the city, as well as coming from Sound Mind, Sound Body, starting there in 7-on-7 camps, and then building a young football resume all through there. It's been amazing seeing different guys coming in and out, and seeing the amount of the guys that did it before me and my brother, just following those guys' footsteps, learning from them, and doing it our own way, and doing it the way that we know it was best for us. It all been amazing. And I say Cass, man, it's probably best school in the city, man. And I definitely want to say Cass Tech definitely provide great structure for the guys, great leadership, and great role models for certain guys to look up to.
And I got a video I want to play for you guys. Kurt Blackwell, a video recently came up, so I'm going to have Sam play it.
So 24 years old, we started Sound Mind, Sound Body, which was our way of trying to create a pathway for young people to go to college. Now, back to the story of King. It was my brothers from King that helped me get going, because we didn't even have a 501c3. So Big homie Gerald McBurrows wrote a personal check to me. My homeboy Anthony Spice Adams wrote a personal check. And we just started a football camp. Karan Riley was in the NFL. He helped out. Ron Johnson. It was just King boys doing a camp at King High School.
So, you heard what he said, man. King boys, we got the sound mind, sound body started. I had to put the letterman on for y'all, man. See, and I don't know, in Detroit, man, do y'all still do the crazy? Because the back of mine, like for those that, it was me in the end zone. I had a Cass dude on fire, had a Persian dude on fire. Do they still do that in Detroit, or is that kind of played out now?
Man, yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
I mean, I still got my varsity jacket, but I think Cass and King it's still a debate because I was talking to my guy Jay Reed during the season. We got them earlier in the season, and at the end of the season, we got them. They got us in the PSL championship, but it's still a big rivalry. But shout out Cass and King, man.
Yeah, man. My mom came up here for Christmas a couple years ago and she found it. So I was like, bring it up here, man. I'm gonna have to wear it every once in a while. It's hot though. It's hot. But when you but when you guys hear Kurt Blackwell, man, talking about sound mind, sound body, man, what does that mean? Because again, this was like back, I forgot what year that was he did this video, but it started, he's right, it started as a football camp. Like I remember going back. I was playing with the Baltimore Ravens. I went back like maybe 2003 or 4 or something like that, or 5 even. And I just, helped them out. And then later, like I just saw it grow and grow. And then when he came to Minnesota for the Super Bowl, I helped him put a camp together up here. So they put a sound mind, sound body camp together in Minnesota. And now it's like crazy. I mean, now it's 1,500 kids. You guys have been a part of it. They got 7-on-7. But, Kobe, you kind of mentioned it. But Kalen, man, as a DB, man, 7-on-7. I know linebackers get it in. But for a DB, man, it really does help, like hone your craft. So what was that like with sound mind, sound body?
Man, sound mind, sound body was nothing but amazing, man. Like just like you said, they got all the inner city kids, out of city kids was coming in the city just to come to sound mind, sound body. People from different states was coming to the camps, and just all the alumni that sound mind, sound body had in the catalog that they had in previous years. I feel like it only helped me and my brother, because when we seen the guys who we grew up watching attending these camps, and it's like, man, we gotta attend now because we up next. So we was attending these camps and just seeing so many players on the same grind as us, seeing so many players that's doing the same things with their life as us. It's like it was almost like a no-brainer. Like we had to be a part of this. And I just want to commend Curtis Blackwell for just doing everything he has done to this point and building sound mind, sound body, and just affecting so many different athletes and kids and families and things of that nature. So the experience was nothing but amazing, man. I wouldn't trade it for nothing else.
And Kobe, man, he said, I text Kurt before this too, and I got a message from Kurt to you guys, but I was like, man, what kind of guys were these guys, man? Because Detroit, you hear it all. Like I know Sauce when the Jets came and played the Vikings. Sauce and I linked up, and and honestly, man, I'm kind of mad at myself because I know the Packers have been here last year, and so I'm about to make sure this year when you guys come up, man, to get both of you guys down on the field and get a picture. But I've had Sauce Gardner down there, Avonte Maddox, Ambry Thomas when he's with the 49ers, now with the Vikings, and so I always make sure to do, way back Nick Perry with the Packers, he was a Detroit King guy. And so that's been fun for me, man. It's been a blessing for me when I retired from football. Like I didn't walk away. Football walked away from me. And so I went through a little bit of depression and just figuring out life. And then I was blessed with this opportunity to work on TV with the Big Ten Network. And now, doing my own podcast, I do the pregame show for the Vikings. And so being at the stadium every single week, man, it's been nothing but a blessing, but it's been a huge blessing to see guys like yourselves. And this is what Kurt said, man. He said, leaders, tough. He said, Kobe was an all-state wrestler, competitive. They're great kids. These are the type of Detroit kids that you want to come out of the city to come to your college and your NFL team, man. And that's huge, man. Because I mean, you guys know I grew up around it. We see guys that make mistakes. We see guys that do dumb stuff, whether it's for the money, whether it's for a girl, whether it's just because they're a knucklehead, man, and they think life is going to be there for them all the time. And you guys have done it right, man. And your mom is super proud, man. Because I know Kobe, you're there with her, and I hit her up and I'm like, hey, Miss Felicia King. For those that don't know, that's Kobe and Kalen's mom. And I'm like, hey, what have you been going through? Because emotionally for a mom, she already got rid of Kalen, and I think Kobe's still in college and still feeling like a baby. maybe that kept her. And now she feels like she's just emotional. And she said she was emotional when Kalen went, and now she's emotional when you guys. She was emotional when you guys went to college. She said, "I've been crying all weekend. I'm lost for world." She said, "But these two are my world." She said, "I'm so thankful and grateful to God to be able to witness this greatness. I've watched you guys move with grace, humility, and courage, outworking the odds and never complaining. Just know I'm one proud mom, and my heart beams with pride and joy, and I can't wait to watch you guys on Sunday." Man, when you hear your mom say that, Kobe, like what does that mean to you?
Man, first that means a lot just from knowing the type of boys that she raised and the type of boys that she put her heart and soul into. But man, I really give her the kudos for being as strong as she is, for being the role model and the leader as she is, and just for being there and really just being the person that we can come and talk to and learn things from and just ask questions and grasp different ideas from, because she's a creative person. She's a loving person. She's a caring person, and she always try to instill those things into us and being the right people, not even just players. She knew we were great players, but she always wanted us to be the right people and the right person that people can count on, people can point to, and that people can look at as something that they can be. But shout out to her, man. She definitely did a lot along this process and through all our years from taking us to games, picking us up from practice, just everything that a mom should do. She did it. She like the superwoman of the family, and she definitely helped us stay strong and be strong, and definitely helped us learn how to maneuver around people and things in certain settings and different environments. But she definitely put her foot down and helped us become the boys we are today.
Yeah, Kobe. And when Kalen left, man, like he got to go to the league. He's making money. I mean, you're making money with NIL. I know it's a totally different day and age now, but how was that for you? You know, your brother left. Now you're the linebacker. You're the captain. You know, you're the guy. You know, you're the only twin there by yourself now. You know, you guys played high school together, little league together, 707, and now you had your first season in college without your brother, man, which probably prepared you for the NFL to get ready for this moment. But what was that like having to go a season, watching him leave, pack up, and go?
I mean, I want to say it was kind of weird at first, just from us doing everything together and playing all the sports that we did together. But from my standpoint, it was something that I had to kind of get used to, knowing that we probably weren't gonna ever play on the same team again. Hopefully one day, but you know, I had to make that adjustment and be accustomed to it for the time being, because when time wasn't gonna stop, none was gonna stop, the season wasn't gonna stop. So I definitely had to move on and move past. All right, my brother's not here no more. It's just me, and I just gotta take care of business. But it was also something to give me that I also got to be a leader for my team. I got to step up and be the guy that people couldn't point to when things get tough and critical. And I was a captain this past year, but I just really took it upon myself to be a leader and continue to lead the guys and let the guys know is I'm still here. It ain't me and my brother here no more, but it's me. But it was a quick adjustment that I had to make, and I definitely did it the right way, and I handled it real well. But you know, it wasn't. It was different for us not playing on the same team and us being this far apart for real.
Well, in a minute, we're going to get to the hot seat once we get your dad back on the show. TK went to Finney High School. He's a friend of my friend, Keenan Weir, and they were able to connect us. Will Bradford also went to Finney as well. So, you know, the minute I found out, somebody was like, yeah, man, that's TK's sons. And I'm like, oh, wow. And so, you know, and then I fast forward to start looking like Tasha White, who's Gates' mom. You know, Tasha is my cousin through marriage. And so, you know, I saw her pop up on your mom's draft party stuff. So I started seeing, you know, all the circles of people, and then Kirk Blackwell brought you guys up. So I was like, man, I gotta do this one. I gotta make this one happen, and I'm glad we were able to do it. But before we get to the hot seat, man, I got a couple more for you guys. So, Kobe and Kalen, when you look at Penn State, and I'll go with you first, Kobe, playing linebacker, knowing your brother is behind you or he's out there on the field with you, you know, in the slot, you know, line up deep, whatever it might be, man. How much, like, mentally were you guys like you didn't have to talk? You could just look at each other, know what the coverage was, know what the call was, and you're like, look, I know what was about to happen.
Mentally, it was just for me as a linebacker, man. I knew the quarterback had a certain amount of time to get the ball off, because first we got great defensive line and D ends that's gonna put the pressure on the quarterback. And I know my brother, I know he wasn't, man. He probably about 3 or 4 seconds the ball coming out, or it ain't, because that QB getting sacked. But so if it do come out, he had it on lock. And then for me, it was just, man, I'm focused on that run game. I know nobody gonna run the ball on us, and they definitely got a small amount of time to get things done the way they want to. But man, I know he was locking up in the back end, and I was taking care of the run game, and I think it definitely went hand in hand in our defense. Because man, we had guys and we was loaded, but we all was on one accord and all on the same page.
Yeah, Kalen, same to you. Like, how was that knowing, when your brother's up there in the front seven, he's getting the guys lined up, and it's like, look, I just got to do my job for about 3 to 4 seconds because I know these guys will get home if we got a blitz called.
Yeah, man, my job, man, I can't complain on my job. My job was easy, man. All I had to do was cover. And, just growing up, man, just playing with Cole my whole life, like, it was like it came to a point like when we was younger and we used to grow up and like go to games, the pep talk always came from my dad. And he was always the one giving the pep talk on the way to the game. So once we went to college, it was like a thing where I just looked at him and I already knew he was like, man, you don't need the pep talk because like, come on now, we know what we're here to do. We never lost sight of that though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Even with us going to college, we never lost sight of what we was actually there to do, and we never let none, steer our mind the wrong way. We already know if it was game time, we locked in. I don't got to look at him and ask him, is you ready? I don't got to look at him and ask, do he know what he's doing? I already know. So my job was easy. Man. I just had to cover, do my job, and shit. Unreal.
And you guys both, played Minnesota, and I know you've probably heard the stories. Like in 1999, I still got the football up here. We beat Penn State with LeVar Arrington, Courtney Brown. They were number 2 in the country. Fast forward, I think it was 2019, Rashad Bateman, Tyler Johnson. You guys come to Minnesota. I think Penn State's like number 4 in the country or something like that. Antoine Winfield gets the interception to seal the game. Jordan Howden. How much did Coach Franklin, when you guys traveled to play Minnesota's coming to play you, explain, that it's a team you can't take lightly because they've knocked off Giants before?
Right. So, okay, just to start on that, me and Kobe, we were committed to Penn State during that game when they played Minnesota. They was 4 in the country, and we thought they was going to the college football playoffs.
Yep.
And they didn't. But just me seeing that game when I was already committed and seeing like, hey, this is a good team. Once I got to college, we actually played them my sophomore year in the whiteout game. Wasn't it the whiteout game?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
It was the whiteout game my sophomore year, and that whole week, Coach Franklin and them, they referencing the game that they had in 2019 where they lost. So that whole week was taken very seriously, and that definitely was a team that we couldn't give no type of – we had to get respect because they earned it. So that was definitely a team that we really had to lace up and suit up for sure. Yeah,
and Kobe, man, you're walking into a locker room that's Big Ten laden. You got J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. I know you guys have played against him. What's kind of the first message, for you, Kobe, when you get a chance to see? Because how did you do against Michigan? I guess I haven't even researched that yet. But how did you do against J.J. McCarthy?
I actually did real well. He was probably one of the smarter quarterbacks that I had to, analyze during the week and play against, actually. But I would say my junior year is probably my best game. I played against Michigan. I had my career high. I had like 17 tackles that game.
Oh wow!
I was going. I was all over the field, but and we still came up short, man. I was on the run game heavy, man. I was dialed into it. But he was definitely one of the better and smarter quarterbacks that I had to go against in my college career.
Yeah, man.
I feel like the Vikings is built like Big Ten. I'm ready for the tough, long hard ball, big old lineman, heavy personnel. Just the Big Ten style play.
Yeah, and when you think about that, man, like Blake Cashman played at Minnesota. He's a linebacker there now. You got J.J. McCarthy, in Michigan. So you got some Big Ten guys in that locker room. And I know, the jokes come up, the conversations come up when teams play each other, but one guy not in the Big Ten, Justin Jefferson. And I'm gonna start with you, Kobe, on that, man. When you knew you were going to the Vikings and you think about that offense, Justin Jefferson, the electricness, just the international stardom that comes with them, man. It's like Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders. What are you thinking in that moment? like, man, like this is a team that's already much, they just need a piece or two here, because you got your boy from Ohio State as well, the offensive guard, Donovan Jackson. So I know you guys have faced him as well. So, you got some pieces coming in there. And so what was your mind first when you thought about that, when you're like, man, like Jets is that guy, and now, we have an offense, with, depending on how JJ McCarthy pans out, that's really good.
Oh man, first I was just thinking about all the pieces, all the tools we had, man. Cause we really got depth, and we got threats all over the field. Just from my knowledge of all the guys we got, but man, the running back room is great, receiver room, quarterback room. I think I definitely thought we could be, and we're gonna be in the contention to winning that Super Bowl, and win and become one of those conference championships, but. JJ reached out to me. He said, "Man, he said get ready to win this Super Bowl," and I think that's definitely one of the things that's in our goals, in the back of our head. But we definitely got the pieces and the tools on the team to do it.
Yeah, man, and that's big for a rookie or second year, but a rookie quarterback. He didn't play. Sam Darnold was the guy last year. To reach out to the draft picks, because that's one thing. A lot of captains, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, that's usually their job. Or Ray Lewis, when I was with the Ravens, it's usually the captain. So JJ McCarthy taking that extra step, because you're not an offensive guy. You're not a guy coming in that's going to help him offensively,
right,
quote unquote. But you're a piece of the puzzle that's coming in, to help out defensively, special teams, Brian Flores. And when you saw Brian Flores's, that 3-4 scheme, your ability to play, the mic or the mo, to rush off the edge, what was that conversation like with Brian Flores, or the meeting like with the coaches? When you kind of knew you were going to be a Minnesota Viking?
Oh man, it was just surreal from getting that call, but just to hear them and hear how excited they was to get me, and hear how excited they was for me to be a part of the program was just amazing for me. And I know I'm going to do my best and to take advantage of every opportunity, and just take advantage of the process and every moment that I get to come. But it was great, man. Just hearing the way that they love my game and love my style of play is just, kudos to what type of guy I am on the field and off the field. And they definitely gonna feel me once I step foot in there.
And when you think about that, Kalen, so now you guys are gonna, Packers, Vikings, your rivals now. What are those text messages or those conversations, or you guys, the good thing is you guys are defensive guys, so neither of you have to actually go against each other. You're not like Rondé and Tiki, where it was offense versus defense, and he actually had to try to tackle his brother or run his brother over. But when you realized he was going to your rival, what was that? I mean, because honestly, that's like him transferring to King. That's like you staying at King and him transferring over to Cass, man. So what was that like?
I mean, regardless, I was happy because, he achieved his dream, even though it's on a rival team.
Yeah.
We are rivals, but we still family. So
right.
family trump rivalry every time. So even though we're not rocking out on the same team with the same uniform on, we still doing what we love, and we still doing everything that we dreamed of. So I can't be mad about nothing.
And I know Mama's emotional, so she's got 2 games, where she both can see both of you in Green Bay and in Minnesota. Who do you think she's like? Because there's always favorites. And I don't know. Maybe with twins, there's not a favorite. But who do you think she's pulling for between the two of you when she show? Like, is she wearing a half and half jersey now?
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell you right now. My mama, she already put the order in for the half and half down the split middle jersey. So like, she ain't gonna be doing no choosing. You gonna see exactly that she got both of the teams on, and it's gonna be perfectly cut down the middle.
And what about Pops? What is TK gonna do? Is he the same? Is it down the middle?
Yeah. So like my dad, you think he probably gonna be more like front and back?
Yeah, he probably gonna do front and back.
Like front, like one team, back another team. That's probably more.
Well, the easy thing is the name is the same, so when they split it down, it's gonna look nice.
Right.
It's figuring out the number situation and all that stuff as the rosters are panning out and the teams get there. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys, man, again, growing up in Detroit, playing Cass versus King, and I don't think people understand that. And then playing Penn State versus like Penn State's right. I mean, because Penn State doesn't really have a natural rival, I feel like, in the Big Ten because they kind of joined. Like Michigan got Ohio State, Minnesota has Wisconsin and Iowa. I never felt like Penn State really had a true rival besides like Notre Dame, I guess. And so when you think about Cass versus King or Notre Dame versus Penn State, man, because I'm gonna tell you, Minnesota versus Green Bay, it's nuts. Like you've seen it, Kalen, it's nuts. Mm-hmm. But of those high school versus college, Notre Dame, like which one is to you seem more intense, when you step on the field?
I would say, I don't know if everybody else consider it a rivalry, but I would say the most intense that I felt from another team would have to be Ohio State.
Okay.
If not Ohio State, then I would say I would have to say Iowa too.
Okay.
Iowa and Ohio State. Just for
Yep.
me being there, my time at Penn State,
Yep.
them two opponents was like the most pressure built up. Sure.
Yeah, man, and it's crazy. People don't understand it because, like, I was there for I was there for the 2019 Penn State game, and they had us because we had done it, whatever 20 years before that in '99. So they had the team come out there at halftime and do all the stuff, and and they honored us, and it was kind of cool to see. I forgot the quarterback, but he did like a whole speech that went viral because he was like, "They here to see us. They ain't here to see the Gophers." Blah blah. And then literally, I think like 2 plays in, Houghton knocks one down, and Antoine Winfield picks him off. So it's just like he just had himself a tough day and put himself all on the media because he was talking too much. And so I personally, when I thought about like Cass versus King for me growing up, like I know security's way better and people are a lot smarter now with social media. But when I played, man, we had issues with gun like violence, and it wouldn't even be like Cass versus King guns because ain't nobody at them schools carrying guns. It was like random dudes from like the King homes and random, like random dudes from the King homes getting into it with another dude they know coming to the game. And so like that's what I remember. It was intense because of Cass versus King, but like it was never like Cass versus King people with weapons. It was always like the random people that want to come to the game and be seen at the game. They get into a fight with 2 people that have nothing to do with the game, just neighborhood. So so that's what I remember. I don't know if it's changed much when you guys played because, it definitely became huge with like Sauce and Avante and all those guys and yourself. Who's the most recent kid that's at Cass now? Number 1. He wears number 1.
DJ Corey Sadler.
Yeah, where's he going?
So he's still young. Like he didn't even commit yet.
Okay, so he's like a junior then or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know, like, I've seen him and I've seen their posts and stuff about that. And, so Cass, and he got Dante Moore and all those guys. I know King has a junior quarterback this year as well. So there's some young teams, man. But, man, salute to you guys to get here because that's the one thing a lot of people don't understand, man. Getting to where you guys have gotten to. And that's the one question I'll ask, man. Like, I'll start with you, Kobe. Your mom's emotional, but aside from that, man, like I know you talked about that, but how much did she stay in your ear, man, and your dad about like staying out of trouble so that this moment would happen?
A lot, really, man. But I want to say our parents always knew the type of guys we were. They knew we were natural leaders. They knew we weren't going to just follow anybody and just do anything or make the crazy decision. But we had our ups and downs with certain things that we done, but it was never too wild or too crazy because we didn't ever venture off into nothing that we weren't supposed to. But my mom always was definitely in our ear about just being the right person and being a great person. I think that definitely carried with me and my brother. But just being the guy that somebody can look up to, being the guy that somebody can pick up the phone and call, just want to talk to. And also being a guy that one day can lead their family and just lead the people around them in the right direction and, to be the right way. And that's really it.
Yeah, Kalen, same to you.
Yeah, I would say, my mom definitely shaped us. Mom and dad both shaped us to be the people we are today. And I remember, like, we really, like, just growing up, we wasn't really, like, involved in too much, like, partying and stuff and just extracurricular activities because it was just like they tried to keep us away from that. And like just growing up in the moment, asking like, Mom, can I go here with these people? And then she not letting us. And then just in the moment, it's like, dang, I can't do nothing. But now that I grew up and I realized like what those potential outcomes could have been with me going to these certain places, now I see and now I understand why she was acting that way and why she had that kind of leash on us. But it only worked for the better. So
yeah, man, because I saw the post on Facebook and everybody was talking about it. Like, Mama King's got the blueprint. She got both her boys there. She got them to college. You guys have no debt from college. You know what I mean? You guys made it through, no debt. You walk away, you got NFL contracts. And so that's the biggest blessing too, man. Football is a part of it, man, but the student athlete side of it for me is when, now that I'm 45, that's what I remember. I'm looking back like, man, I graduated from college in 3 years. I didn't have to pay any bills back to the school. I got to walk away with a degree. And then, which now, now I'm out in the world and speaking at schools and high schools and doing other stuff, that I appreciate that side of it, man, because, and that's what I try to instill in my daughters. I'm like, I don't really care what you do, but understand, one, you don't want to make those mistakes. And two, go to school for free. You know what I mean? Right. Like if you can go to school for free, because my daughter is an 8th grader, but she's on varsity for softball already, so, and that's the one thing. Yeah. She's been on varsity since she was a 7th grader. And that's the one thing. And then my 10-year-old, same thing. She's 5'2" and she's 10 and she wears a size 10 shoe. So she's a really good softball and basketball player. And so I tell both of them, I'm like, look, your mom, my wife was an Olympian. She went to the 2008 Olympics in Beijing and triple jumped down there in the Olympics, and she ran track in Minnesota. And so that's what I tell them. I'm like, you guys have the genetics to get there. Right. It's do you have the want to get there? And I grew up in Detroit where and you guys have been there. You don't want to end up just stuck in Detroit without options. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to be in Detroit, you want to be there because you're there for a job. You don't want to just be stuck like, man, I dropped out of school. I got in trouble. I can't do nothing. You can go back and work. You can work for because Braylon Edwards, I know he's back there now working with Woodward Sports. And that's my guy. He's a Detroit kid as well. And so that's the one thing, man, like I've told a lot. And I had Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis, when I was in high school, he was my guy that was in the league and it was explaining to me not to get in trouble and not to do this. And I think that's the one thing your mom, man, you guys have learned a ton from your parents. And that's what's the biggest thing about this, man. But when you think about, we're going to take a quick pause and then we're going to do this hot seat. I'm going to put you guys on a hot seat. Got a couple quick questions. We're going to get out of here. I'll be right back. We'll be right back with Kalen and Kobe King and maybe try to get their dad in here for this hot seat. We'll be back after this. So we're back with the Ron Johnson Show. I got the King family now. I got TK, Finney High School for those from Detroit. If you're not from Detroit, just Google Finney High School. Imagine Lean on Me. It was the hood. Like I didn't want to play too many games at Finney. Like I didn't like playing at Persian. I didn't like playing at Kettering. I didn't like going to Mumford. Like Cass and King was about as far as I wanted to go. I didn't mind going to Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and all that for the playoffs. We didn't get to play like you guys got to play at the Lions Stadium. It was back at the Silverdome back in the day. But yeah, man, like it was crazy because if you beat those teams, you got to hurry up and get on the bus because the neighborhood ain't too happy, especially if it's a blowout. But Larry Foote, that's my guy from Persian, Jimmy Henry. So those guys I played against at Persian. And so, but Marlon Williams, I know he was at Cass. D. Alvin Bryant was at Cass. And so I remember those days. But we got their dad, TK. And TK, man, you and your wife, man, you and your kid's mom, you guys did a great job. You know what I mean? When you think about these two staying out of trouble, not making mistakes, going to Penn State, now in the NFL. So I want to ask you a couple questions about your son, man. And so you have to say Kobe or Kalen, or you can plead the fifth. Between your two sons, who's the most athletic?
I see. Most athletic, Dub by a hair. By a hair.
Huh?
By a hair.
Can he explain that one?
Can you explain that? Kobe wants an explanation why you giving Kalen the most
hair?
athletic. Basketball put it over the top.
Kalen, you a hooper then?
He's more skilled in basketball.
But
you're better than Kobe.
I can hoop a little bit.
Yeah, you hoop better than me. I played more sports better than him.
Because I know you were a state champion wrestler, like Kurt Blackwell did tell me that one.
I was a national champ too.
Yeah, it was national champ.
Okay. So, but he's giving it to the hoop, because that's CT. TK grew up in my era with Keenan Ware and a bunch of guys that hoop. Like, we always go back to the hooping when it comes to athletes. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know wrestling was a thing when I was growing up. Like, I didn't know about Greco-Roman wrestling and all that stuff. Greco-Roman wrestling. I didn't know anything about that. But now that I've seen, like Ray Lewis was a state champion and national champion wrestler too. That's the first thing he used to tell us, man. He's like, man, that made me a better tackler, being able to get as low as I can get. And so, Kobe, I definitely know. I'm gonna make sure I bring that up a bunch. All training camp. But Dub, Kalen, you feel like you way more athletic because you didn't like to buy a hair thing, man. Like,
hey, man, I just take it.
I didn't say way. It's not way, but it's just by it's close. It's just by here.
So the next question was gonna be who's a better hooper. So we already know that answer. We got
Yeah.
Kalen as a better hooper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball in there because I didn't give you guys this one. So TK, if they had to wrestle, who's coming out on top of that one?
If it's on the mat and it's organized, Kobe. But if it's around the house, Dub gonna get him.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, now.
His bedroom wrestling record, I think I think he got Kobe in the bedroom
I
wrestling.
got that awareness.
so who's the oldest? Who was born first?
Me.
Kobe.
Okay. So Kobe, my guess is that you just wanted to let little brother, not feel like little brother. You gave
Yeah,
it to him.
sometimes you had to let him get his and feel good about that. A little pride and ego. Had to boost it up a little bit.
So TK, here I got one for you. Between the two, who's most likely to want mom to move in with them during training camp?
Oh, definitely Cole.
Ah,
Definitely Cole.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, Dub need his freedom. Cole for sure.
And until he want to play, until he wants some food.
Because Kayla, you look like you was like, yeah, definitely Kobe want mama there.
Yeah, for sure.
So the oldest is the baby. Okay. All right, here's one now. So TK, man, we got YouTube followers. We usually tweet these videos out to the Vikings. They'll retweet it. Care 11, which is NBC Sports here in Minnesota, they'll retweet it. So you got to pick this one, Kobe or Kalen. And I'm gonna stick with Packers and Vikings, but maybe on that second contract, one of them end up with the Lions or something. But who's the first one you think has a chance to win a Super Bowl?
That's a good question.
The
Vikings went 14-2 last year.
Yep.
But they do got a quarterback that's unproven. So Jordan Love is a little bit more proven. Oh, that's tough, man. That's tough, man. I'm gonna go with the Vikings because they finished a little bit better than Green Bay, 14-2. So I'm gonna go Minnesota.
Okay, Kalen, what you think? Head to head now. You guys got 2 games this year. Is it gonna be a split?
I'm not mad at that, but we do see them twice this year, so we're gonna see.
Yep.
And you guys got some weapons. You just added some receiver weapons for the first time. I saw Aaron Rodgers was pissed off about that one. They never drafted a receiver in the first round for him. And then Jordan Love, they gave him a weapon. So hats off to Green Bay, man. I'm proud of them. And anytime a receiver gets drafted, I'm all for it. So, but yeah, man, when I saw that, I've done some joking videos year in and year out about this, about the Packers never seem to want to draft a receiver in the first round for Aaron. And now for Jordan, they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and get this guy a receiver. Like we learn from our mistakes. And Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs was a guy I wanted to come to Minnesota, but the Packers got him. So Romeo's a good receiver as well. And now they just added another weapon. So I mean, it's going to be a fun year, I think, in the NFC North. It's definitely the best conference by far. Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears, the best conference by far. So I'm going to jump to the boys now. So you guys can yell out your brother's name, your name. You can say me, whatever. Hot seat questions for you before we get out of here. Who's faster, Kobe or Kalen?
Me.
But what I would say, I want to say I'm a little more quicker. Side to side.
Shuttle. We got to look at the shuttle drill. We got to check out the pro day shuttle drill.
Side, I'm a little more quicker.
No.
He quick, but I'm a little twitchy. And some people don't even see it, but I am.
So who's stronger between the two?
Kobe, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got a consensus there. Who had better grades in high school and college?
Me.
Oh wait, my highest GPA at Cass was sophomore year. I had a 3.7 at Cass.
Oh,
and that was it right there.
Then the scholarships came, and he was like, "All right, I'm good."
I ain't never had no 3.7 at Cass.
I ain't gonna lie. I was similar to that. When I was a freshman, I had the nice grades freshman, sophomore year at King, and then I graduated. I've never said this out loud. Every once in a while I say it. My kids are like, "What?" I graduated with a 2.6. I went from a 3.6 to a 2.6 because once I saw that scholarship offer from 5 different schools, I was like, what I got to get in school? It's like, you just need a 2.5 and an 18. I was like, all right, well, I'm good. So but the kids, don't do that. Don't do that, kids. For the kid, high school, I got a lot of high school kids that watch this. Don't do that. That was not good. I almost screwed it up and wasn't eligible. But thank God by the chin hairs on my chin, I barely got through with a 2.6 and cleared the clearinghouse, and I was eligible to play my freshman year. So don't do that, kids. That's not the way to do it. I had to tell my kids that story though, to tell them like it's okay to make a mistake. I'd made mistakes, but you just got to overcome them. Here's another one between you two and TK. You can kind of chime in on this one. Who's funnier? Like if you guys are sitting around with a group of friends, who tends to get the most chuckles out the group?
That's easy. Me.
I wanted this. This is what I would say. I would say Dub funny.
That's easy.
But I'm like a more like a man, like a dark humor funny, like a laid back funnier.
Yeah,
so you got secret humor.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then before we get last one, you guys are apart now. You've been apart for a year already anyway, so now you're going into year 2 being apart, both in the NFL though. Who's the brother who's checking on the other brother more? Like who's sending the message like, yo, you good? What's up? Or who's making the phone call, or who between you two?
I'll answer this. I say Cole checks on me a little more than I check on him, but I say it's like pretty even though.
Cole?
Yeah.
But I get an upper hand to Kobe for sure.
Yeah, but lately it's been even. Lately it's been even.
All right. And then as far as your parents, man, who's getting more calls during the season and off season between mom and dad? Like who are you guys reaching out to a little bit more?
So naturally, I would say my mom is getting more calls just because she is calling way more. Like that's literally the only reason.
I let the birds fly the nest, man. I let them do them. Yeah. I know they're gonna hit me when they hit me. She a little different.
That's not life though.
She gonna call you until you answer. So
yeah, she told me that's what she told me she was the emotional one. So that's good though, man. But enjoy your time, man. Like I'm proud of both of you guys, man. Like I feel like an extended uncle now. I've learned a lot about you guys in the last week from Sound Mind, Sound Body, from Penn State guys, ESPN guys that I know. I reached out to scouts that I know as well, because Chisholm Oprah, who's the Viking scout, Kobe, who you'll meet, he was my teammate with the Baltimore Ravens. So I text him every once in a while to get intel on you guys, man. And same with you, Kalen. Like last year, not gonna lie, like I had you on my board last year with the Vikings. Like when I found out you went to Cass Tech last year and you were a Penn State guy, that was the first thing when the Vikings asked, and they asked me every once in a while, just, if I see guys or whatever, or what do I think when I'm in their presence. And your name was one of the corners and safeties I bought up. Like, man, like this is a guy I feel like you can put in different positions. He's versatile. But you ended up a Packer, man. So, but it's gonna be fun watching you guys grow, man. And honestly, between you two, you got my number. Anything, man. If you ever need anything, I live in Minnesota. So for sure, you, Kobe, man, if you ever like, hey, man, I'm out of town. Can you know anybody that can check on my house? Like I know a lot of the, players' wives that live out there by the facility that I can reach out to for you and all that stuff, man. So never feel like you're here alone when you get here to Minnesota. But yeah, man, I'm Ron Johnson. This was the Ron Johnson Show. This was the King family. We'll be checking up with Kobe once he gets up here to mini camp and training camp. But I want to thank you guys and have a great week.